welcome everyone. This is Steve with Aptera Owners Club. I am joined by David Huerta. I first met David at the Fully Charged event, and that's like one of the best things about running this channel is like meeting all the people. And I met a lot of people at Fully Charged, and David was one of them. And David was he's just a good guy. He's like he got a bunch of footage for me there, and he also introduced me to Michael Johnson, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. How did you meet him at Fully Charged?
So it was really awesome. I was just standing there in the booth, just talking to somebody randomly, and the guy was like, "Oh, so are you local?" I said, "No, I flew in from Texas." And there's another man standing next to me. He's like, "Oh, in Texas? Where in Texas?" And so he and I are just talking of like, I don't know, for 20 minutes. We're talking about electric motorcycles. We're talking about the Aptera, and that was Michael.
Oh yeah.
So he just was super cool, super laid back, and we were just chatting. And
yeah.
then that was him.
Yeah, and then like you brought me over to meet him, and I was like, "Oh, this is the Michael Johnson. That's one of the co-founders of Aptera. That's like amazing that he's just like a regular dude that was just standing there. Super nice guy.
Super nice.
Yeah, like very down to earth. Yeah, it was great.
And I told him, I was like, Steve has one of the best Aptera channels. Like, you've really got to check on, you've got to at least talk to this guy. And I wanted to make sure the two of you connected because he's so cool. Your channel's great. Like, it's a good thing to get everybody connected.
Yeah, thanks for that. And also for this. So you were at this equity crowdfunding week thing, right?
Yeah.
And so did you just were you happen to be in the area, or did you fly in just for it?
Just for it.
Oh, so okay, awesome.
Yeah, so we'll put out something about needing ambassadors, and so I just was like, hey, how do I get into this? So I just signed up and got aboard. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome. So as far as I know, you're the first person outside of Aptera to ride this thing.
Yeah, apparently it's a very short list. Chris M was telling me like it's a very short list of people.
Okay, so there have been some people outside of Aptera that rode this thing.
Possibly, I don't know. When he just said, "I want you to take a ride in it," everything just kind of went to hum in my brain.
Oh, right.
I was just like, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I was wondering if like some other media outlets or channels on YouTube have like gone to it. Like there's a bunch of people like maybe Jay Leno, maybe Transport Evolved, maybe the Fully Charged people. Like who knows?
Yeah. But if they have, it must be under NDA and they can't release anything.
We haven't released any videos. So yeah. So when you got there, Chris M said that you want to ride in the Yama.
He's like, I'm gonna get you a ride.
Oh,
and I was
okay.
Like seriously? So I was super stoked, and it was kind of early in the day, and I was like, I wonder what he meant, like what he meant by that. Maybe he wasn't serious, or I don't know. And Chris is just so nice, right? Like when we went through the whole day, and then as we were getting ready, like we moved the car out of this area here to take it back out, and then we're gonna go load it on the trailer. And just as it was getting ready to roll into the street, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe he forgot. Chris is like, all right, get in. And so that's how it happened.
And I think like Elizabeth, I think there was a picture of your driver here a little bit. Yeah. This was your driver, right?
That's the man.
Yeah, I think he's the guy that gives everyone the rides.
It was awesome, I have to say. It was very cool.
So, okay. Now I know you talked to Chad and Sarah from Drive the Lightning, and you said that they gave you this, Chris gave your driver the sign to punch it.
Yeah, the little this like it looked like ride a horse, but it was like punch it. And so he gave it a good little shot. Like in the limited area that we had, it was a good jolt. It was a good move.
And did you happen to notice like what speed you got up to?
No, I mean, no clue, because I was just looking out the window. I was just absorbing everything and I didn't even look at the screens.
Okay, so, gotcha.
But it's a very different feeling sitting in that cockpit because it's so round. Like I have a Porsche Cayman S, and it's kind of similar, but it's not nearly as engulfing as that Aptera. I mean, the Aptera, it really is a very different feeling sitting in that cockpit.
Like, what do you mean by it's not as engulfing?
So like my Porsche, the Porsche Cayman is like a windshield, right? And it's kind of more car-like, and this is more airplane cockpit-like. So
Mm,
it like it kind of comes around you more. Like it just kind of wraps like you're
okay,
part like you're sitting in a small plane more
I
than
see.
like you're sitting in a car. So it's
Okay.
to me it's like you're engulfed kind of in this windshield and glass, and it's just this body that comes around you.
Uh-huh. It's kind of like the bubble of like a fighter jet or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of the acceleration, so you've this is the first Aptera you've ridden, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've never
Yeah. So
been in
you
any
never
other
you didn't
prototype.
yeah, you haven't ridden the alpha or the beta. So
Nope.
you can't compare the two.
No, I
And
can't.
so
Just
I've
from what I've
ridden the
heard.
alpha and the beta, and I haven't ridden this thing. So we have no frame of reference. So in terms of like like I thought the beta took off like a rocket. It was like it was kind of shockingly fast. Um, and so you have a Porsche Cayman.
Yes.
Like, how would you compare the acceleration between the two?
You know, the whole thing is like, so and I also had a BMW i3. So, and that
Okay.
was BMW's fastest car from like 0 to 35.
Uh-huh.
So for me, that's the car I kind of compare it to the most, like, because a piston powered car, that torque kind of builds up
Right.
and you
There's
have,
like a slight lag while the motor spools up, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like your torque in the beginning is low, and then as the RPMs reach up, the torque
Uh,
starts coming up, and you start meeting that.
right.
It's different with an electric car. It's just instant torque. There's no torque, and then there's
Right.
all the torque.
Right.
And so the difference I felt though between my BMW i3 and the Aptera was that the i3 always felt very heavy, like
Mm,
when it's moving, like the transition from 0 to 10, it feels like you're pushing a boulder, right? There's
I
that
see.
you're moving a lot of mass.
Even
Where
though the i3 is actually a fairly light car, it had the carbon frame on it, right? The i3.
right,
So it's
yes,
actually a relatively light car as regular cars go, but it still feels heavy compared to this thing.
yeah, and it's just that I think that because the Aptera is infinitely lighter, right?
Mm,
It's at least half the weight, something
yeah.
close to that.
Hmm.
So it really just moves. I mean, and it was really jarring. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it was really like in Star Wars where you see when you're going into hyperspace and those, the cars on the side of the street we were passing just blended past us.
Uh-huh.
It was very cool.
Huh. And what did you get a sense of like the wind noise or anything like that?
That was the thing. It was really quiet, like
Okay.
really, really quiet. Like I
Okay.
ride motorcycles, and sometimes you get that whistle in your helmet, if
Uh-huh.
you just tilt your head a little bit, and I didn't perceive any of that. Like
Okay.
it was a very quiet ride. I mean, we had a box of stuff in the back, and
Uh-huh.
there's a story I tell people about my BMW i3 when I first got it. It had a rattle that drove me crazy.
Uh-huh.
And then one day I let somebody else drive the car, and I was in the passenger seat, and I look into the pocket on the door, and it was two quarters rattling.
Uh-huh.
But because electric cars are so quiet, that two quarters just sounded like bells going off. It was super loud. So
Right.
it, so it was very, very quiet, and I didn't hear any wind noise. I didn't hear that whistle. I didn't hear that. It was just very quiet. I mean, I don't think we were up at speeds, past 45 or 50, but I mean, it felt like it, but it was quick, and it was very quiet.
And how about like road noise?
I didn't have any sense of road noise either. And I don't think the road we went on was a great road either.
Okay.
But the suspension it's pretty tuned in. I mean, like, I know this isn't the final vehicle, but man,
Right.
like that's pretty good suspension.
Yeah. And it's yeah, I don't know if Gamma was built with the old honeycomb composite or the new like the CF SMC stuff that the actual production vehicle is built off of.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the sound dampening qualities between the two are. So it's unfortunately we just don't know that information. So I don't know how much it translates to the actual production car we're going to get.
Yeah,
Now,
for
the other
sure.
thing we noticed is the Alpha was very rattly because
Yeah.
it was kind of like a sort of like a science project. Did this feel more like production ready to you? Like, did it feel like a production car, like, or was like a bunch of stuff rattling around in there?
No, so I can kind of compare it to, like, I've had friends that have built kit cars before, and they just never quite seemed fully buttoned up. And this seemed very buttoned up.
Okay.
So, I mean, when they're building it, they're taking their time, and this is very nice.
Okay. Because I mean, like when you look at the things of it, there are like some panel gaps that are big, but obviously that's not affecting the rattling of it at this point. And we expect the production Aptera to be even better fit than this. And I think that their new, the way that they're making it with that CPC group, it's going to be like really tight, super tight. Yeah,
I agree.
Like the tolerances will be a lot better even. Okay. All right. So you mind like going through some of these videos, and I'll ask you questions about them?
Yeah,
Since
sure.
you were there, you took these videos for us. Okay, so let me see. We'll start from the beginning. Okay, so this is you were the first person to see the solar hood up close too.
And that's funny because, like, I was just kind of so like excited to be there. Like, Chris M actually had to take me and grab me and brought me over and said, "Take a look at this."
Oh yeah.
Like he had to point it out, and then it took a minute, like, for it to kind of filter, and then I was like, "Oh man,
yeah,
that's the solar hood." Like, it's awesome.
All right, let's see here. Okay, so this is just a shot of the inside. So nothing really new here. This is pretty much the same as fully charged.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna go forward, and there was some like indoor shots where there's a lot of where it's kind of dark. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. One of the things we wanted to make sure is that a lot of people are worried about that this wheel cover wouldn't light up, and people would just see this part and think that the Aptera is narrower than it is, and maybe clip your front wheel pants. But this thing definitely lights up, right?
Oh, for sure. And in some of the videos, you can see it even lights up that wheel pant light, lights up the side of the body. It even gives a cast of light on the body.
Yeah.
So it is, the videos don't do it justice. Like, the light
it's a little grainy.
So good in real life. It was so there was a couple that was there, and they're like in the 1000s of Aptera reservation holders. And she was like, "Oh, I really wish I would have got to see this in the daytime." I was like, "No, trust me, you want to see it at night. Like, nobody ever gets to see it in the dark at night with these lights. So you're getting an experience that very few people are getting."
Yeah. And unfortunately, you didn't get too much of a look at the UI, huh?
No, you know what? I really wish, like I said, I was pretty geeking out on the whole thing. Like, here's me. I'm all surprised that I put my camera inside the cockpit, and then all of a sudden I realized I was looking at myself on the side mirror.
Right. And that was one of the things that we didn't get to see it fully charged. Like, I wasn't sure if those side mirror monitors in front of the yoke were actually functional or not, but they're clearly functional. They're working.
Yeah, they're working.
Yeah, because you can see you were like just taking it from, you're like, oh, there you are. Like, that's you being shown off the camera there, right?
That was like my aha moment.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I'm right there. Because I think every time I've seen it, like even semi-functional, it always was like pointed up in the air. And so you couldn't really tell anything, and you couldn't tell. And I thought, I mean, even though this has been, the video's grainy because of, it's trying to get an ISO that works in this dark and automatic mode. I think the screen looked really clear and the camera looked really clear.
Yeah. The video quality, even on yours looked good, and in person it looked better than that.
Yeah, for sure.
And it looks like they did get rid of the funny font, and it looks like a more normal font here.
Okay.
That's good. And you can see, I don't know if people can mark these out, but it looks like driver door, passenger door, and like trunk or something. It says hatches open there on this one. Okay, I'm gonna flip through here. You can see Chris in the back there.
And Chris, as always, was super awesome. Like, I was telling somebody how awesome he was, and then Chris comes walking up and he sees me and then gives me a hug and says, "Hey, thanks for coming out." And I just looked at the guy I was talking to. He's like, "See, he's just an awesome guy. Like, at the end of the day, he's a really great guy."
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can see here's the the rear mirrors. And you can actually see, I think this is the shot where you see the top. Yeah, right. No, there was maybe another video, but definitely the screen on the center rear view. Yeah, right here. Yep. Okay,
There
we
you.
missed it.
So when it goes up, you see it.
Yeah, you see these guys,
Yep.
and if you watch it, you can see their legs moving. But yeah, I rewatched it several times. But yeah, these are all functioning right here.
See, Steve, this is why you are so good. You catch it frame by frame. Like the things that everybody else misses, you catch all those things.
Yeah, so yeah, these things. So you know what? It's kind of interesting because in the pictures, it looks like this part is clear, but it's
Right.
actually orange. The whole thing is orange.
Well, I think it's actually pretty clear looking, but it's lit up with an orange LED.
Okay, yeah. The plastic is clear, but the LEDs are orange. So when it's lit
Yeah.
up, the whole thing, it looks like an orange strip.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty clear that you wouldn't mistake this for being a narrow car because you see these orange things on the side. So
For
it
sure
should be
not.
very
Yeah.
clear. So if someone clipped you just because they were not paying attention or they're meaning to clip you.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and there's one of the clips in the video, you can see when it's coming in, that wheel pant light is like, you can kind of see it here. It's lighting up the back of the car a little bit.
Right. It's so bright that it's lighting up the
Yeah.
concrete here. You can see it reflecting off the concrete.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that, but like I noticed it on the car, but you're right, it lights up the concrete too.
And I'm trying to find the video, but that center brake light on the hood works. That's like a functional brake light. It turns red
Yeah.
when he pushes the brakes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they didn't fully come out and say it to me at Fully Charged, but I got the impression that this is a fully functional vehicle with the full size battery pack.
Okay.
And goes to full like highway speeds and stuff.
Oh,
this is
I could guarantee you this thing goes full highway speed. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I don't think they were anywhere close to being top speed when we drove.
Yeah.
And I would imagine it would have no problem going on the highway.
Yeah. You think you definitely hit like 40, 50 miles per hour?
It's hard to tell, but it was quick and it was fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it moved really, really quickly.
Now this interior shot, this is just the lighting off of the center console screens, huh?
And from the LED from above.
Oh, there's an LED from above too.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So this is really bright. I'm sure that they're going to include a dark mode for driving at night. I mean,
I'm sure. Yeah.
It just makes sense that they would have done that.
But I think a lot of this is also from the LEDs from the top, because it was a really nice. It was lit up very well. I mean, it was a nice smooth light. It wasn't like some lights where that people put in those super bright LEDs and it just makes the inside of the car unbearable. It was a really nice washing of light. They thought it through pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
And this is a cool shot. So a lot of people were saying, oh, they don't like the center light here, because they thought that it looked better with the side lights, but the side lights do light up.
Yeah.
It's a nice look, I think.
Yeah. I'm sad that the little center Aptera logo is going away, but I guess that has to go away. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, David, thanks so much for like getting this footage for us and like sharing it with the rest of the community. Everyone's gonna really appreciate all this video and footage and yeah, wow, you got the first ride of anyone I know of that's in the Gamma. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I thought you'd all gotten that ride back the day before Fully Charged.
No.
And everybody was out there hanging out, and I thought, oh wow. And then Chris kind of made a point about like how rare it was. And I'm thinking like, well, yeah, me and the other ambassadors, and like it's pretty rare. And then then it was like, oh wait a minute, like you're pretty much one of the only ones. So
right. I think like if anyone else has ridden it, they are not allowed to like talk about it or at least film it. So like those things are coming out. I was supposed to go visit them sometime this month. And I tried to ask them if I could come visit them, but they said that November was just booked. I think they were at this thing.
Yeah, they told me the same thing, that the car is like everywhere this month. It's just going to all kinds of events.
Right. So I think they're booked up, and I think some of the bigger channels may be seeing it. I'm sure we're going to start seeing videos of the other, channels and media outlets driving this thing around, which will be good. And it'll be interesting to see what Delta is, because I think Delta is, my suspicion, my guess is that this thing is not built with the the carbon fiber stuff. I think this is still built with the old honeycomb sandwich. That's my guess. I'm not sure if I'm right about that.
If I knew, I'd tell you, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, hey,
just one more thing. I just want to let everybody know that, like, I'm an Aptera ambassador. I'm an investor, and I'm a reservation holder. Just to be clear, like, I fully believe in this product. And I fully believe in Aptera and the team. Like I am all in, because I want one of these so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm doing everything I can to make that happen. So but I just want to be clear that, you know, I'm not an employee or anything else, but I do have a stake in this personally.
Okay. Well, thanks again so much. Thanks for everything, David. And thanks for taking the time to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you. Thank you for all your great content.
Oh yeah, no problem. All right. Thanks, man. Have a great trip.
Thanks. Much appreciated. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
See you soon, hopefully. Bye.